Our topic for today is human eye. The human eye is one of the most valuable sense organs that enables us to see the world around us. Let us study about the different parts of an eye. Sclera is a tough outer coat that protects the entire eyeball. Choroid is a vascular layer of the eye. It contains blood vessels that nourish the inner parts of the eye.
Hurry. Please, sit properly.
Sorry. No worries.
Cornea is the front portion of the eye. It is convex in shape and bulges outside. Light enters the eye through the cornea.
Hey.
Iris is a dark muscular diaphragm located just behind the cornea. It regulates the amount of light entering the eye by adjusting the size of the pupil. Pupil is a hole in the middle of the iris. Size of the pupil decreases or increases depending upon the intensity of light entering the eye. Eye lens is made up of a transparent jelly-like substance, which is made up of proteins. It is held in position by the ciliary muscles and suspensory ligaments. The ciliary muscles and suspensory ligaments adjust the focal length of the eye so that we can see distant and nearby objects clearly. The ability of the eye to focus on distant and nearby objects by changing the focal length is called accommodation.
Please go inside.
Aqueous humor is a viscous liquid filled in the area between the cornea and eye lens. It prevents the eye from collapsing due to changes in the atmospheric pressure.
Where are you going?
I was just taking a walk.
Please, get inside. I don't want to be late.
Hey. Hey.
The retina is a delicate membrane having a large number of light-sensitive cells. The light-sensitive cells get activated upon illumination and generate electrical signals. The light-sensitive cells are of two types: rods, cells that respond to the intensity of light, and cones, cells that respond to the color of objects.
Hey. What is this? This is the macula. It is a tiny area in the retina which is responsible for clear and sharp vision. Hey. Did you know that there's a small depression inside the macula? It is called the fovea sentalis. Here, maximum number of cones are present.
An inverted real image of the object is formed on the retina. The electrical signals generated by the cells are sent to the brain through the optic nerve. The brain reassembles the signals into a meaningful image and gives rise to the sensation of vision.
Come on. Bravo. Seems like jelly.
Vitreous humor is a jelly-like substance filled in the space between the retina and the eye lens. It helps in maintaining the shape of the eye. Blind spot is a small region in the retina where the optic nerve enters the eye. It is insensitive to light, hence it is called the blind spot. Different parts of an eye: sclera, choroid, cornea, iris, pupil, eye lens, ciliary muscles, suspensory ligaments, aqueous humor, retina, vitreous humor, optic nerve, blind spot.
Oh, we forgot something. Macula. Fovea sentilis.
Why do we have 2 eyes instead of 1?
Oh.
You don't know? Okay, to understand this better, close your right eye.
Oh.
Now, are you able to see the table kept on your right side? You were not able to see it, right? Okay, let me tell you why. Both our eyes work together and help us to see, judge, and perceive a view accurately. Having 2 eyes provides us with a wider field of view. When both our eyes are open, we get a horizontal field of view of about 180 degrees. However, with only 1 eye open, we get a horizontal field of view of only around 150 degrees. We are unable to view around 20 to 30 degrees. Hence, we are not able to see the table when our 1 eye was closed. Hey, did you know that our eyes see the same object from a slightly different angle? You don't believe me? Alright, look at this object. Both your eyes see the object like this. Now, when you see only with your left eye, the object will look like this. While, when you see only with your right eye, the object will look like this. Our eyes send these 2 slightly different images to the brain. The brain blends or combines both the images to make a 3-dimensional image of the object. Hey, but what is the use of a 3-dimensional image? A 3-dimensional image helps us to understand how far or how near an object is from us, facilitating better depth or distance perception. This means having 2 eyes enables us to judge the distance of the object or the depth at which the object is placed from us. Why do we have different eye colors? So that we can produce different colored eye lasers. No. Colored part of the eye is called iris. Iris contains a pigment called melanin. Melanin is of 2 types, pheomelanin and eumelanin. The color of our eyes is dependent on the amount and type of melanin produced. If we have more melanin with higher concentration of eumelanin, then we will have darker eye color such as brown. However, if we have less melanin with higher concentration of pheomelanin, then we will probably have blue or green eyes. Now, according to a study, the amount and type of melanin produced in our eyes is mainly determined by 2 genes, OCA2 and HERC2 present on chromosome 15. Since these genes are inherited from our parents, we will probably have an eye color similar to our parents. But note that sometimes, certain mutations in the genes can produce different eye colors. Why do we blink? To look adorable and innocent. No. An average person blinks about 10 to 20 times per minute. Blinking helps spread water, oil, mucus, etc. across our eyes and wipe out dust. However, this is not the only purpose of blinking. Experts notice that the exact moments when we blink are not random. While reading, we tend to blink at the end of sentences. While listening, we blink when speaker takes pauses. Hence, using fMRI scanners, experts observe the brains of some individuals. The analysis showed that while blinking, mental activity dipped in areas which control attention, while the activity spiked in areas called default mode network. This network operates when mind is in a state of wakeful rest. Based on these observations, experts hypothesize that blinking acts as a tiny mental break, thus allowing us to pay more attention when we open our eyes again. Why do we blink when we hear loud sounds?
'Cause loud sounds hypnotize us and make us sleepy.
Oh, you lazy.
Huh?
The blinking response to a sudden loud noise is scientifically termed as the acoustic startle reflex eye blink. It is a protective mechanism we have developed due to evolution. In ancient times, we were very vulnerable to attacks, and many a time the loud sound meant that we were either being attacked or injured by a falling rock. Now, our eyes being extremely sensitive, they needed protection first. Hence, whenever an intense noise suddenly reaches our ears, within 3 to 8 milliseconds, a cluster of giant neurons called caudal pontine reticular nucleus gets activated, which eventually activates motoneurons in our brainstem. These motoneurons inform the facial nerves and muscles to close our eyes tightly, thus preventing them from any kind of harm. Hence, it is our natural reflex to blink in response to a loud bang. Can sneezing make your eyes pop out?
No! It makes my snot pop out!
Ew, that's gross. Now listen. You might have heard your parents or friends telling that if you don't close your eyelids while sneezing, your eyes will pop out. However, eyes popping out, also scientifically known as globluxation, is almost impossible. This is because your eye muscles and bony eye sockets are the ones which firmly hold your eyeballs in place every time, even while sneezing. Now, when you sneeze, a huge pressure builds up in your chest and head. However, this pressure is extremely unlikely to dislocate your eyeballs because the pressure is released through your nose and mouth. However, it is important to note that there are a very small number of cases reported in which eyeballs have indeed popped out due to sneezing. So, it's certainly not impossible, but is extremely rare. Why are tears salty?
'Cause our eyes forgot to add sugar to them.
Just listen. There's no way that our tears cannot be salty because salt, that is sodium chloride, is very essential for various bodily functions. Sodium in salt conducts nerve impulses, helps all the muscles to contract, etc. Chloride is an essential part of our stomach acid. According to research, there's about half a pound of salt in our bodies. Now, if we have so much salt, it makes sense that our bodily fluids, including sweat, blood, and tears, naturally have some salt in them. Besides this, it would take a lot of cellular energy to make sure that our tears were 100% pure water. Moreover, as some tears are continuously produced to lubricate our eyes, it is believed that salt in those tears inhibits the growth of bacteria, thus preventing infections. Why doesn't it go dark when we blink?
Because we have transparent eyelids.
Yeah. We see objects when light from those objects enters our eyes and hits the retina. Now, when we blink, our retina doesn't receive any light. Then, why doesn't it appear dark? Because our brain suppresses this information from retina, ignoring the darkness. Thus, we don't consciously realize that it has gone dark. Also, experts say a part of our brain called medial prefrontal cortex stores the last image we see before blinking and uses it to fill in the darkness. Thus, we feel that we are watching a continuous picture without interruption. Also, if we blink while watching a moving object, our brain gauges the difference in positions of the moving object before and after the blink. Accordingly, it adjusts our eye muscles, helping them maintain focus on the moving object, even after the blink. How to not cry while cutting onions?
Watch a comedy movie!
Nah. When we cut onions, chemicals like sulfoxides and enzymes are released which react to eventually form a gas. This gas reacts with the lubricating liquid in our eyes and produces sulfuric acid, which makes us cry. However, if we freeze onions before cutting, then the temperature of onions drops. Due to this, the sulfoxides and enzymes react slowly, producing less gas and thus reducing the amount of crying. We can even wear tight goggles so that the gas doesn't reach our eyes. It is also said that below the onion roots, there's a bulb where the concentration of chemicals is more. Hence, to avoid crying, we should first cut and throw that part. Also, cutting an onion under running water washes away the chemicals. Hence, we can also use this method to reduce crying while cutting onions.
Huh?
What is color blindness?
A color festival.
No, color blindness or color deficiency is a vision problem. Now, our eyes have light-sensitive cells called rods and cones.
Can I put ice cream on these cones?
Oh, you are just unbelievable. Rods are responsible for black and white vision. They do not detect color, whereas cones detect color. There are 3 types of cones. One cone perceives red light, another perceives green, and the third perceives blue. Together, these cones help us to see the whole spectrum of colors. Now, in some cases, when one or more types of cones do not work properly, it causes color blindness. People with such deficiency have difficulty in distinguishing between certain colors or shades. For example, in red-green color blindness, the apple tree may appear like this. What causes nearsightedness?
Excess staring at junk food.
No. When light from an object enters our eyes, our eye lens bends it such that the image is formed on the retina. However, in some people, this image is formed before the retina. Such defect is called nearsightedness or myopia. A person with myopia cannot see distant objects clearly.
But why?
Wait, I'll explain. To focus image of a distant object on the retina, our eye lens becomes thin. However, in people with myopia, the lens cannot become adequately thin, thus forming image before the retina and making it difficult to see. Moreover, when the eyeball is elongated more than normal, the distance between the lens and the retina increases, resulting in the formation of image before the retina, thus causing difficulty in seeing the distant object. What is a cataract?
It may be a cat's nickname.
No. Hey! A cataract is an eye disease.
How does it form?
Wait, I'll explain. Each of our eyes consists of a transparent lens.
Is it similar to my camera lens?
Absolutely. Our eye lens is made up of water and protein. They are arranged in such a way that keeps the lens clear and lets light pass through it. Hence, a sharp image is formed on the retina. However, as we age, the protein begins to clump together, making the lens cloudy. This clouding of our eye's natural lens is called a cataract. In such situations, when light from an object enters our eye, the clumped protein blocks or scatters the light. As a result, a blurred image is formed on the retina, thus making it hard to see. What are eye boogers?
They are similar to burgers.
Oh, gross, no. Eye boogers generally contain oil, dust, germs, etc. They are formed from the tear film on our eyes.
Does the film have any action scenes?
Oh no. The tear film mainly consists of 3 layers. Mucin layer, aqueous layer, and lipid or oily layer. Together, these layers moisturize our eyes. They also trap dust and germs which are removed while blinking. When we blink, The eyelid closes, and if there is any dust or germ, it gets discarded along with some tear film through the tear duct into the nasal cavity.
Oh.
But while sleeping, since we don't blink, the tear film, dust, and germs get collected in the inner corners of our eyes and start to dry out, forming eye boogers. Do smartphones make our eyes worse?
No, they make food ordering fast and easy.
Oh, listen.
Oh.
Among all light sources, a smartphone is the only one at which we stare for prolonged periods and hold it too close to our eyes. Hence, it puts strain on our eyes. Besides this, smartphone screens predominantly emit blue light. Now, our eyes are built to absorb the harmful ultraviolet rays coming from the sun, thus protecting the inner sensitive membrane called retina. But since they are not good at absorbing blue light emitted by smartphones, it hits the retina and produces toxic substances which slowly begin to damage the retina. Hence, long-term exposure to blue light may affect our vision. However, to resolve this issue, many manufacturers have incorporated a new feature called night light. Night light causes the screens to give off warmer colors, thus reducing the negative effects of blue light. Why do our eyes get dry?
Not my eyes. They have a bath every day.
Oh, some. Dry eye is a condition in which our eyes lack the tears necessary to nourish or lubricate them. Most common causes of dry eyes are, firstly, decrease in the amount of tears produced by one's eyes. This may be caused due to aging, certain medications, inflammation of our tear glands, etc. Secondly, increase in the evaporation of tears from one's eyes. This may be caused due to dry air or wind. Also, performing certain activities which require higher concentration, like sitting in front of the computer or reading books, may reduce the frequency of our eye blinking and thus lead to increased evaporation of our tears. Lastly, our tears are mostly composed of water, oil, mucus, antibodies, and special proteins. Imbalance in the composition of these may lead to dry eyes. Why do we get eye bags?
It is a sign indicating that we need to take a long holiday.
No. One of the main reasons for eye bags is aging. As we age, various changes take place in our body.
Yeah, dude. I get more attractive with age.
Yeah. Now listen. Our skin contains collagen and elastin. They keep our skin firm and elastic. In addition to this, we have fat tissue surrounding our eyes for cushioning. But as we age, our skin produces less collagen and elastin, causing our skin to become loose. Also, the muscles and ligaments that hold the fat tissue in place begin to get loose and the fat starts drooping down. This loose skin and fat make the area around our eyes appear swollen, giving us eye bags. Besides this, heredity, salt intake, smoking, etc. may also contribute to the formation of eye bags.
Oh.
Is rubbing your eyes good or bad?
Good. No bad. Maybe both.
Oh, some. We usually rub our eyes due to lack of sleep or to remove dust, irritants, etc. Now, sometimes rubbing our eyes for brief periods can be good because it activates the release of tears which lubricate our eyes. Rubbing even stimulates the vagus nerve, which in turn slows down our heartbeat, helping relieve stress. However, don't make it a habit. Firstly, continuous rubbing can cause the outer layer of our eyes, called cornea, to get thin, weak, and conical in shape, causing a disease known as keratoconus, thus leading to distorted vision. Secondly, if there is an irritant and we try to remove it by rubbing, that irritant can end up scratching our cornea. Lastly, if people with glaucoma rub their eyes, it can lead to extra increase in fluid pressure, further damaging the optic nerve, eventually leading to blindness. Why shouldn't we look at the sun?
We shouldn't look at the sun because the moon will feel jealous.
No! It is because the sun not only gives out a tremendous amount of light, but it also emits ultraviolet radiation. This radiation can harm our eyes and even make us blind.
Nah, I don't believe you.
Alright, I'll explain. When we look or stare at the sun for a long time, the emitted ultraviolet radiation burns the outermost layer of our eyes called cornea, causing intense pain and inflammation. This condition is called photokeratitis. In addition to this, the radiation also damages the proteins present in the eye lens, giving us cataract and thus causing blurry vision. Moreover, the ultraviolet radiation even damages the light-sensitive cells in the retina, which help us to see. This condition is called solar retinopathy. Solar retinopathy can lead to temporary or even permanent blindness. Why do we get an eye sty?
'Cause you don't wear cool shades.
No. Eye sty, or hordeolum, is a painful pimple-like bump near our eyelids. It is caused due to Staphylococcus bacterium, which lives harmlessly on our skin. Now, our eyelids contain 3 glands called gland of Zeiss, gland of Moll, and meibomian gland. Gland of Zeiss secretes an oily substance to lubricate our eyelashes. Gland of Moll is a sweat gland, while meibomian gland prevents the evaporation of our eye's tear film. Now, sometimes in the above glands, dead skin cells and bacteria get trapped, leading to an infection, thus giving rise to a sty. Now, if infection occurs in the glands of Zeiss or Moll, it is called an external sty. However, if the infection occurs in meibomian gland, it is called an internal sty. Also, as an internal sty presses against our eye, it proves to be more painful than an external sty. What causes dark circles?
A black marker pen.
Nah.
Oh.
There are a number of reasons which cause dark circles. Some of them are stress and lack of sleep. Under these conditions, our body produces a hormone called cortisol. Over time, cortisol constricts some blood vessels and dilates the others, like the vessels around or under our eyes. As a result, these blood vessels become bigger. Now, when sunlight or any white light falls around our eyes, various colors which make up white light interact with the skin and blood vessels in such a way that they mostly reflect bluish light. Now, as the skin around our eyes is thinner as compared to other parts of the body, the big blood vessels that reflect bluish light are prominent. This makes the area around or under our eyes appear darker, thus causing dark circles. Why do our eyes twitch?
Because we use too much Twitter.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. Eye twitching is also referred to as eyelid twitching or myokymia. Myokymia is a repetitive, spontaneous, involuntary spasm or quivering of our eyelid muscles. These eye twitches are generally mild and last for a very short length of time. But in some cases, they may be strong enough to force closing of both the eyelids, and in some cases, they might last for a longer period of time. Eye twitches are considered to be unpredictable, as in they do not follow any specific pattern of occurrence. Some of the common causes of eye twitching are eye irritation, fatigue, lack of sleep, too much alcohol, caffeine, or tobacco, allergies, etc. Eyelid twitches are generally considered to be harmless, but may require a doctor visit in some extreme cases. Why do our eyes become red?
Because we color them using red paint.
Oh, let me explain. Did you know that extremely tiny blood vessels are present on the surface of our eyes? Yes, they do. When these blood vessels get dilated or inflamed, our eyes appear red.
Oh.
In this condition, our red eyes are also sometimes referred to as bloodshot eyes. The most common causes of eye redness are allergies triggered due to irritants such as pollen, dust, perfume, or smoke. In this case, our eyes may also have itching, burning, or tearing. A condition called dry eye, in which our eyes lack the tears necessary to nourish or lubricate them. An infection such as conjunctivitis. Sometimes conjunctivitis is also referred to as pink eye. Finally, eye redness can also be a result of trauma or injury to our eyes.
Why do my eyes glow red in photos?
Because there is a devil hidden in you.
Oh, stop bluffing.
Alright, I'll explain. It happens because of blood vessels in our eyes and pupil. Pupil is a small opening whose size is adjusted by the circular muscle called iris. In bright light, the iris contracts, making the pupil smaller, thus allowing less light to enter into our eyes. In dark, the iris relaxes, making the pupil larger, thus allowing more light to enter and also exposing the blood vessels in our eyes. Hence, when we take a photo in such a dark environment, the flash of light from the camera floods into our eyes at once. Some of this light gets reflected from the blood vessels onto the camera before our iris can contract, making our eyes glow red in photos. Why do your eyes turn red in the pool?
Ha! It is because of chlorine.
Chlorine is not the main reason for this. Chlorine is added to water of swimming pools because it is a disinfectant. It helps kill germs, thus keeping water germ-free. In fact, the main reason for our eyes to turn red is the presence of our bodily fluids like urine and sweat in the pool.
Ew.
Urine and sweat contain nitrogenous compounds like urea. Urea reacts with the chlorine present in water, forming chloramine. Now, if we regularly clean the swimming pool, then we can prevent the production of chloramines. But if the pools are not cleaned, then the chloramines formed can irritate our eyes, thus making them red. In addition to this, chloramines can evaporate from water. Inhaling these chloramines for a long period can result in coughing, asthma, and other health problems. Where does all my snot come from?
It comes from the mayo you eat.
Nah. Snot is basically produced by the mucous membrane present in our nose. Usually, it is prepared in small amounts. However, when we have a cold or flu, the mucous membrane produces excess snot, which eventually comes out of our nostrils. Although it seems gross, but this snot is our body's first line of defense against infections. So let's see how it works. Firstly, the snot contains proteins called mucins. Mucins give our snot its gel-like properties, helping it trap germs, dust, etc., and thus preventing them from entering deeper into our body. Also, sometimes bacteria clump together, forming a harmful biofilm. But the mucins found in our snot bind to these bacteria and increase their motility. As a result, bacteria don't clump together, rendering them less dangerous. Lastly, snot also contains antibodies, antimicrobial peptides, etc., which help kill germs, thus keeping us
Smart learning for all.
Topic: human nose. Why does spicy food make your nose run?
Because it is not that strong to make me run.
Nah. Our nose consists of tiny hair and a sticky substance called mucus.
Can I use this mucus to stick my broken vase?
Ooh, gross. Please don't do that and listen. During breathing, the hair and mucus trap harmful substances, thus prohibiting them from entering deep inside the body. Now, spicy food items like chili, mustard, horseradish, and wasabi contain chemicals called capsaicin and allyl isothiocyanate. When we eat such food items, the capsaicin and allyl isothiocyanate travel through the pharynx and reach our nose. Here, the chemicals activate the heat-sensing receptors, thus causing inflammation in our nose and irritation of the mucus. Hence, as a defense mechanism, more mucus is produced in our nose to get rid of these chemicals, thus making our nose run. Why do we get nosebleeds?
I don't know.
Alright, I'll explain. The medical term for a nosebleed is epistaxis. The most common epistaxis is anterior epistaxis, where bleeding happens from the front part of our nostrils. Each of our nostrils has a mass of blood vessels called Kieselbach's plexus, which is very close to the skin surface. Now, usually the mucus moisturizes the skin in our nose, thus protecting the blood vessels in it.
Wow! Mucus is so useful.
Yes, it is. However, during winter, the air is dry. Hence, when we inhale this dry air, it draws moisture from the mucus, which in turn leads to the drying of skin in our nose. Now, some people's skin is very sensitive. If it dries, the skin and blood vessels in it get easily damaged, causing an anterior epistaxis or nosebleed.
Oh.
Why does our nose run?
Because it wants to defeat Usain Bolt.
No. We can get a runny nose due to common cold, flu, allergies, sinus infection, etc. But let's first see what we actually mean by a runny nose. Our nose consists of a mucous membrane which secretes a slimy substance called mucus. However, sometimes, this membrane produces excess mucus which comes out of our nostrils, thus causing a condition called rhinorrhea, popularly known as a runny nose. But why is our body producing mucus in the first place? For protection. Mucus contains mucins, which give mucus its gel-like properties, helping it trap germs, dust, etc., and thus preventing them from entering our body. Mucus also contains antibodies and immune cells, which kill germs and other foreign particles. Besides this, mucus even warms and moisturizes the inhaled air, thus preventing our breathing passage from getting damaged. Why do we breathe through one nostril?
No idea.
Our nostrils have specialized tissues. At a given time, these tissues are swollen in one nostril while they are shrunk in the other. Hence, when we breathe, air passes easily through the nostril in which the tissues are shrunk. However, due to the swelling, very less amount of air slowly passes through the other nostril. Thus, it seems as if we are breathing through one nostril only. However, after some time, the swelling and shrinking in the nostrils reverses. This breathing pattern is called nasal cycle. Nasal cycle is beneficial for us.
But how?
Some odors are detected better in fast-moving air, while others in slow-moving air. Thus, with fast-moving air in one nostril and slow-moving air in the other, our nose can detect a greater range of smells. Besides this, our nostrils are moist. Continuous breathing can make them dry. Hence, when we breathe through one nostril, the other nostril gets time to become moist again. Are wisdom teeth still useful?
Obviously, because wisdom teeth make us intelligent.
No. There are 32 permanent teeth, out of which 4 wisdom teeth begin to grow a little late. Now, when our ancient ancestors used to eat plant material and raw meat, they required big, strong jaws and wisdom teeth to chew their food. As they learned to cook food, they no longer required those big jaws. Hence, through evolution, the jaws started to get smaller and smaller. But the wisdom teeth did not disappear through evolution. They still exist. But since they appear a little late, the remaining teeth usually take up the available space in the small jaw, leaving no room for the wisdom teeth. Hence, they begin to grow at odd angles and push other teeth, causing pain, swelling, tooth decay, and even infection. Hence, in such cases, wisdom teeth can prove to be harmful and not useful. Why does sugar hurt our teeth? because sugar and teeth are no longer dating. Nah. Our teeth consist of enamel, dentin, and pulp. Enamel is mostly made of minerals. Dentin contains tubules filled with a fluid with some solutes dissolved in it, whereas pulp has blood vessels and nerves. When our teeth enamel erodes due to excessive teeth grinding or cavities, it exposes the underlying dentin and its tubules. Now, on consuming sugar, osmosis takes place. What's that? Substances like sugar, salt, etc. that dissolve in liquids are called solutes. When a region has higher solute concentration than the other, then to maintain equilibrium, water moves from lower solute concentration to higher solute concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. This process is called osmosis. On consuming sugar, the solute concentration outside dentin becomes more than the solute concentration inside the tubules. Hence, the fluid from tubules rushes out via osmosis, stimulating the nerves below and causing pain. Why do people grind their teeth?
Because they're always hungry.
No. Some people may grind their teeth unknowingly only during the night, while others may grind their teeth during the daytime as well. The medical term for teeth grinding is called bruxism.
What? It also has a medical term.
Indeed, bruxism can be caused due to stress, anxiety, medications, etc. However, according to a research, bruxism is also common in people who snore. Snoring occurs when the muscles like uvula, tongue, etc. relax and fall at the back of our throat, blocking the air pathway and thus causing difficulty in breathing. Now, it is bruxism that reopens the air pathway. Bruxism, or grinding of teeth, causes movement in the relaxed muscles, due to which the muscles return back to their original position, thus opening the air pathway. Why do our teeth turn yellow?
Because our teeth need some color in their lives.
Nah. Our teeth basically consist of three parts. The outermost part is enamel. Enamel is white in color. Beneath the enamel, there is dentine. It is yellow in color. Then comes the part called pulp, which has blood vessels and nerves.
Is this the same pulp found in our fruit juices?
No. Please concentrate. When we drink or eat acidic fruits and beverages like lemon, orange juice, soft drinks, etc., they erode or wear away the enamel, exposing the yellow dentine and thus making teeth appear yellow. However, did you know that some people's teeth are naturally yellowish? This is because in such people, the layer of enamel is thin, causing the yellow color of the dentine to appear more clearly and thus making their teeth appear naturally yellow. Topic: ear. How do ears help with balancing? They really do. You don't believe me. Okay, can you play guitar and walk at the same time? How do you think you were able to maintain your balance? Do you know why you can't balance yourself anymore? Wait, I will tell you. This happens because there is a connection between our ears and body balance. Our ear consists of three parts: outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. Our inner ear works in sync with our eyes and muscles, helping us maintain balance while we are doing various activities. The inner ear consists of three semicircular canals called superior semicircular canal, posterior semicircular canal, and a lateral semicircular canal. The three semicircular canals are arranged in three different positions. Each of these canals has a fluid called endolymph and hair cells called cilia at the base. Whenever we move our head, the fluid moves, resulting in the movement of the cilia as well.
Oh.
When the cilia moves, it sends signals to the brain informing which direction our head has just moved in. Each canal has different functions as per the movement of our head.
Hooray!
When we move our head up and down, the superior semicircular canal helps our brain to understand the yes motion. When we tilt our head towards our shoulders, the posterior semicircular canal helps our brain to understand the tilting motion. When we move our head from side to side, the lateral semicircular canal helps our brain to understand the no motion. It was too complicated, right? Okay, don't worry about it. Relax. Why don't you go on a merry-go-round? Hey, why were you not able to maintain your balance? This is because when you sat in the merry-go-round and started rotating, the fluid in the semicircular canals also started to move. After a while, it was moving at the same rate at which you were moving. However, when the ride stopped and you got down from the ride, the fluid was still in motion due to inertia. Hence, even though you were not moving, the moving fluid gave your brain false information telling you that you are still in motion. Thus, you are not able to maintain your balance. Are earphones harmful?
No, they make us look cool.
Oh, listen. When any sound wave enters our ear, it creates vibrations in our eardrum. These vibrations then travel through tiny bones and eventually get transmitted to cochlea. Cochlea is a fluid-filled chamber with tiny hair cells. Now these vibrations move the fluid as well as the hair cells, allowing us to hear. Now, as earphones are very close to our eardrums, continuous loud music causes extreme movement of the hair cells, thus decreasing their sensitivity over time, eventually leading to hearing loss. Now, some solutions. Firstly, we can hear better quality music at a lower volume level with noise-canceling earphones as they remove unwanted background sounds. Secondly, some experts recommend the 60 by 60 rule. One should listen to music at 60% volume for a maximum of 60 minutes. Thirdly, over-the-ear headphones are recommended as they are further away from our eardrums. What is earwax?
It is a wax used to make candles.
Oh, gross. Not at all. Earwax is used to lubricate and protect our ear canal, middle ear, and inner ear.
Oh, but how does it form?
Our ear canal consists of special glands. They produce an oily and waxy substance called cerumen. Cerumen moisturizes our ears. It traps dust and dead skin cells, keeping our ears clean. Besides this, cerumen also has antibacterial properties. When harmful microbes try to enter deeper into our ears, the cerumen traps and kills the microbes. These dead microbes, dust, oil, and dead skin cells together form the earwax.
Oh.
Why do our ears hurt when we fly?
Because they play heavy rock music in flight.
Oh, some. Let me explain. When sound waves enter our ear, they make our eardrum vibrate and are eventually interpreted as sounds by our brain. Our eardrum is located between the ear canal and the middle ear. The air present in both these areas can affect the position of our eardrum. Now, before we take off, the air pressure in the ear canal and the middle ear is the same. When the flight begins to take off, the air pressure in the airplane and thus the ear canal begins to drop. Now, due to higher air pressure in the middle ear, our eardrum is pushed outwards, causing us pain. Similarly, the opposite happens while landing. Our eardrum is pushed inwards, again causing us pain. Why do our hands shake?
Simple. They are trying to break dance.
What? Oh, some. Shaky hands are also referred to as hand tremors. A tremor is an involuntary, rhythmic movement of one or more body parts. A tremor is generally caused when there is some problem with those areas of our brain which control movement. Hand tremors are believed to be caused due to the following reasons. Firstly, neurological conditions like Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, etc. Secondly, overdose of caffeine, which is a natural stimulant, can lead to shaky hands. Thirdly, one of the symptoms that may appear either after alcohol abuse or withdrawal is shaky hands. Lastly, certain medications, lack of sleep, anxiety, or low blood sugar are also believed to be reasons behind shaky hands. It is always recommended to speak with a doctor if one experiences shaky hands. Why do we stretch in the morning?
So that we can sleep for 2 more hours.
Nah, wait, I'll explain. When we wake up in the morning, we yawn and stretch our arms and legs. This coordinated yawning and stretching is referred to as pandiculation.
I thought it is referred to as calculation.
Oh, just listen. When we are asleep, we don't perform any activities. Hence, our heart rate becomes slow when the blood flow is decreased. Also, as many people lie in the same position for long hours, their muscles become stiff and tight. Thus, a good stretch in the morning awakens our body. It brings our heart rate back to normal, improving the blood flow to various body parts. Stretching also loosens and realigns our stiff muscles, making them more flexible and ready for the day ahead. How does a bone heal?
Simple. Buy a bandage.
Nah. Bones are one of the most important parts of our body. They not only provide structural support, but also produce red blood cells.
What? Our bones produce red blood cells?
Absolutely. Hence, when we crack or break a bone, it is very important to heal it. In the healing process, cells called chondrocytes produce collagen, which forms cartilage. This cartilage bridges the gap between the broken bones, thus producing a soft callus. Then, special cells called osteoblasts create a hard bony callus using collagen and minerals like calcium and phosphorus, thus forming our new bone. However, this new bone is irregular in shape. Hence, cells called osteoclasts start remodeling the bone, resulting in the formation of bones similar to the original shape. Why do knuckles pop?
So that when we get bored, we can pop them for time pass.
Nah. A knuckle is a joint in the finger where two bones come together or connect. This joint is filled with a fluid called synovial fluid. Synovial fluid is a viscous fluid containing dissolved gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. When bones move, the synovial fluid prevents them from grinding against each other.
Wow, it's so amazing.
Indeed, when we stretch or bend our finger, the space between the two bones increases. This causes the synovial fluid to stretch, thus creating low pressure in it. Now, as gases are less soluble at low pressure, the dissolved gases in the synovial fluid undissolve, resulting in the formation of a bubble, which we hear as the pop sound. Why are some people double jointed?
Because they are aliens.
Nah. A joint is an area where two bones meet with the help of ligament. Joints enable us to bend various body parts to a certain extent. However, some people can bend their body parts more than normal. Such characteristic is called joint hypermobility. It is said that hypermobility is because the individual has more or double joints which give him extended range of motion. However, this is incorrect. Hypermobility in some people is the result of flexible ligaments which enable their body parts to bend more than normal.
Dude, that really looks creepy.
Besides this, hypermobility can also be seen around ball and socket joints, which involve the ball-shaped end of one bone fitting into an indentation on the other bone. The shallower the indentation is, the greater the range of motion, thus giving that individual hypermobility. Why are some people left-handed?
Because their left hand is much beautiful than their right.
Oh, you are unbelievable. Actually, till now, it is not fully understood why some people are left-handed while others are right-handed. A theory suggests that genetics might play a role in determining the hand dominance. As per the theory, when a baby is developing in the womb, there are two forms of genes known as D and C which the baby can inherit from its parents. If the baby inherits D gene from both the parents, then the baby will surely be right-handed. If the baby inherits D gene from one parent and C gene from the other, then the chances of baby being right-handed are much higher. However, if the baby inherits C gene from both the parents, then the baby will either be right-handed or left-handed. The chances are 50-50. What is arthritis?
It is a chemical formed by mixing hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid.
Oh, dude, from where do you get such ideas? To explain arthritis, we need to first understand what a joint is. A joint is a place where two bones meet. When there is inflammation, swelling, or pain in one or more joints, then it is termed as arthritis. The cause of arthritis depends upon the type of arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disorder. In this disorder, our immune cells mistakenly start attacking the tissue surrounding a joint and thus damage it. This leads to inflammation, swelling, and pain in the joint. Osteoarthritis occurs when the cartilage that cushions the ends of bones in a joint gradually breaks down and wears away. As a result, the bones begin to rub against each other, causing swelling and pain in that joint. The human heart. Just look at this machine. You remember him, right? Yes, it's Wall-E, the iconic robot who meets Eva and falls in love with her. Have you ever been in love, Umsum? Yes, I can see it now. 2 soft buns, cheese, tomato, my burger. Oh, Umsum. Anyways, which organ is associated with love? The heart, right? It's kind of obvious, but the truth is our heart doesn't teach us to love. And most important, it doesn't break apart when somebody leaves us. Yeah, it's true. Our heart, the cone-shaped organ, is actually a complete workaholic. Throughout our lifetime, it tirelessly pumps oxygen and nutrient-rich blood to all of our body parts, just like a pumping machine. Come on now, close your palm and form a fist. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to fight. Our fist is approximately how big our heart is. It is located between our lungs, slightly tilted towards the left side. It is enclosed in a double-layered sac called pericardium. Does it taste like peri-peri fries? No, Umsum. What does a picture frame do? It holds the picture in place, right? Without the frame, the picture would fall off. Just like that, the pericardium protects the heart by anchoring it to the surrounding tissue so that the heart stays in place. Pericardium also prevents the heart from overfilling. Now, just like Captain America's shield is made of special alloy, our heart is made of special muscle cells called cardiac muscle fibers. Now, let's dive in. Just like a tennis net divides the tennis court into 2 parts, the heart is also divided onto the left and the right side of a wall called cardiac septum. The right side of the heart is filled with deoxygenated blood, while the left side is filled with oxygenated blood. And this dividing wall prevents the blood from mixing. Each side of the heart further divides into 2 chambers. The upper chambers are called atria, while the lower chambers are called ventricles. Where are the sleeping chambers? Stop it, Umsum. Let's first learn about atrium. Now, just like a postbox receives letters from multiple people, the atrium receives blood from different parts of the body. Thus, the atria are simply receiving chambers. They have thin muscular walls. Why thin? Do they believe in size 0? No, their walls are thin, not requiring a lot of muscle tissue, because they only have to pump blood into the ventricles present right below them. Now, moving on to the ventricle. Just like the postman collects all the letters from the postbox and delivers them to their respective locations, ventricle also collects blood from the atrium and pumps it to different parts of the body. Thus, the ventricles are called discharging chambers. Just like coconuts have thick outer covering, ventricles have thick muscular walls. Why thick? Because the walls need more muscle tissue to generate enough pressure so as to pump blood out of the heart and distribute it to the entire body. Now, the left ventricle's wall is even more thicker than right ventricle's wall, because the right ventricle pumps blood only to the lungs, while the left ventricle has to pump it to the entire body, requiring much more pressure than the right ventricle. Now, let's talk about the valves of the heart. In total, we have 4 valves: tricuspid valve, bicuspid valve, pulmonary valve, and aortic valve. What happens when you hop onto a flight? Can you just change your mind and ask the pilot to turn back?
Oh no!
Nope. Same with the 4 valves of the heart. They are fibrous flaps of tissue allowing the blood to flow in one direction only, and then they close tightly, preventing the backflow of blood. So they basically act like security guards. The tricuspid valve guards the opening between right atrium and right ventricle, while the bicuspid valve guards the opening between left atrium and left ventricle. Together, they are called atrioventricular valves. Pulmonary valve guards opening between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery, while aortic valve guards opening between left ventricle and aorta. Together, they are called semilunar valves. Atrioventricular, semilunar, sounds like the names of some Star Trek guys. Oh, So, that was all for the structure of the heart. Now, let's understand its working. But before that, let me ask you something. Why is the heart so important? Can't we survive without it? Depends. Can you survive without oxygen? No, right? Who is the guy making sure that every cell of our body gets oxygen? The heart. It pumps blood through the entire body, supplying oxygen and nutrients to the cells and removing carbon dioxide and waste materials from them. This movement of blood through the entire body is called circulation of blood. Let's understand this movement. From the different body parts, deoxygenated blood is collected and brought to the heart. It enters the right atrium through blood vessels called superior and inferior vena cava. This deoxygenated blood now moves into the right ventricle. Now, in order to purify the blood, it is sent to the lungs via the pulmonary artery. In the lungs, the blood is purified, that is, carbon dioxide is removed and oxygen is added to the blood. Now, this oxygenated blood needs to be sent to all body parts. So, let's take it back to the heart, through the pulmonary veins into the left atrium. From there, it flows into the left ventricle. And now, finally, through the aorta, it leaves the heart and is sent throughout the body. Thus, oxygenated blood is delivered to every cell. This completes one cycle of blood circulation. Now, deoxygenated blood is again collected, brought back to the heart, and the cycle continues. Did you know that the blood circulation between the heart and lungs is called pulmonary circulation, while the circulation between the heart and body parts is called systemic circulation? Since the blood flows twice through the heart in one circuit, it is called double circulation. Well, I am double awesome because awesome flows constantly through me every second. You're unbelievable,
Oh.
What causes heart attacks?
High electricity bills.
No. A heart attack or myocardial infarction is the complete blockage of blood flow to a part of the heart, causing its muscle cells to die.
Oh, so sad.
A network of blood vessels called coronary arteries continuously supply oxygenated blood to muscle cells of heart to keep them working properly. However, due to bad lifestyle choices and stress, cholesterol and fats start building in these arteries, reducing blood flow to the muscle cells. This buildup is called plaque. Plaque is the main culprit behind most heart attacks.
So, shall we put Plaque in jail?
Oh, just listen. When plaque ruptures, a blood clot forms around it, causing the artery to get completely blocked. The blood then cannot pass further to that part of the heart. Thus, due to lack of oxygen, the muscle cells in that part die. This condition is called a heart attack. Why does our heart beat faster when in danger?
'Cause it's getting ready to run away.
Nah. In stressful or displeasing situations, when a part of the brain called amygdala receives unpleasant information from our senses, it generates a response of fear or danger and sends it to hypothalamus. Now, hypothalamus has two options. Either to activate the sympathetic nervous system, which regulates the fight or flight response, or activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for restfulness and digestion. Now, as the response was of danger, fight or flight system gets activated, which in turn signals the release of adrenaline. Adrenaline increases breathing rate, elevates our blood pressure, and most importantly, it makes our heart beat faster than normal. This allows more oxygen and glucose to reach our cells through blood, giving us a burst of energy and thus making us capable to fight or flight. Topic: nerves. Why don't we feel pain when we cut our hair?
Well, duh. Because if it would, then we would have got angry on our hairdressers.
Oh, you are just impossible. Wait, I will explain it to you. Inside our body, there's a network of nerves. These nerves help us to sense our surroundings and feel pain, touch, etc. by sending messages to the brain.
So do the nerves of my hair not know how to send a message?
No. Generally, the part of our hair above the skin is made up of dead cells. It does not have any nerves. Hence, when we cut our hair, due to the absence of nerves, our brain does not receive any messages of pain. As a result, we don't feel any pain. Why do we get white hair?
Because we cannot get blue hair.
No. Our hair is basically made up of keratin, a colorless protein. Hence, before our hair comes out of the skin, it is almost white.
How's that possible?
I had black hair during childhood.
Don't worry, I'll explain. Our hair grows from hair follicles. A hair follicle contains melanocytes, which produce melanin. Melanin is injected in the keratin cells during the growth of our hair. This melanin gives color to our hair. Now, the color of our hair is dependent on the type of melanin injected. Eumelanin makes our hair black or brown, while pheomelanin makes our hair red or blonde. However, as we grow old, the melanocytes decrease the production of melanin. Thus, less melanin is injected in hair, causing them to eventually turn white. Why do we have split ends?
'Cause the world is coming to an end.
Nah. Split ends, or trichoptilosis, is a type of hair damage in which our hair strand or hair shaft splits into two or more branches. It mostly occurs at the end of the shaft. However, you can have split ends anywhere along the entire shaft. Now, our hair consists of three concentric layers. The outermost tough layer is called cuticle, the middle layer is called cortex, and the innermost layer is called medulla. Split ends occur when the cuticle gets ripped off or damaged. Now, as there is no longer any tough structure to hold the hair together, cracks begin to develop in the inner layers. thus giving rise to split ends. Now, there are many factors that can cause split ends. For example, excessive sun exposure, improper brushing or detangling, excessive blow drying, coloring, etc.